It doesn't give me any pleasure at all to read the story about Lucy Connolly and this issue of free speech. But free speech comes at a price. Free speech comes with responsibility, and the higher the or the more privilege someone is given, the more responsibility is expected. The Court of Appeal has today upheld the 31-month sentence of Lucy Connolly, a childminder from Northampton and the wife of the former Conservative councillor, for a tweet. A tweet posted for about 4 hours in the fraught aftermath of the Southport massacre. And her offence, words, ugly, inflammatory, angry words. But was it incitement or was it despair? Was it hatred or was it grief poorly expressed? On the 29th of July 2024, 3 young girls were stabbed to death at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport. The nation reeled, and among those stunned was Lucy Connolly, already grieving a child lost to NHS negligence years before she posted a message to her 9,000 followers on Twitter: mass deportation now, set fire to all the... And it goes on, and I'm not even going to read it. But if that makes me racist, she finishes, so be it. Well, I'm afraid it did make her racist. It was crude, vengeful, and deleted within 4 hours. So she knew that it was offensive. But by then it had been viewed 301,000 times and screenshotted. Within days, Lucy was arrested, denied bail, and ultimately sentenced to over 2.5 years in prison. Her appeal, delivered this week, was dismissed. Words carry consequences. Freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences, but it must, in a civilised society, mean proportionate consequences. Connolly's tweet was abhorrent, but does it justify a sentence longer than that handed down to many for sexual assault, burglary, or violent disorder? She was prosecuted under laws meant to prevent incitement to racial hatred and serious violence, and yet, when questioned in court, she denied intending harm, expressed remorse, and had already deleted the post. The law, however, saw intention where there was anger and menace where there was grief. The judges called her incredible, rejecting her account despite her being articulate, intelligent, and evidently out of her depth. It would be dishonest to ignore that her political leanings, right-wing, anti-immigration, conservative by association, form the shadow context of this case. This wasn't simply a trial of a woman, but of the limits of acceptable speech in modern Britain and the allure and fury of the far right. Compare Connolly's fate with the Labour councillor Ricky Jones, who was caught on video telling a crowd we need to cut their throats. He's out on bail. Or of Gary Lineker, who retweeted anti-Semitic tropes but remains free to apologise and carry on. Or indeed Mike Amesbury, who was jailed for about 3 days and was allowed free for punching repeatedly one of his own constituents. Then there are the members of the Kneecap rap group, glorifying IRA slogans and calling for their MPs to be killed. No prison sentence for them. I'm not sure this is how equality before the law should look. Lucy Connolly has spent 284 days in prison away from her 12-year-old daughter, Holly. That daughter, suspended from school and suffering psychologically, asked each morning, "Is Mummy's letter here yet?" And when the ruling finally arrived, it wasn't hope, it was heartbreak. Connolly's appeal was supported by the Free Speech Union, and over £88,000 has been raised by members of the public to support her. This is not the behaviour of a nation supporting hate, it's the response of people alarmed by what seems to be judicial overreach. This is not a defence of hate speech, nor a defence of perspective, of proportionality, of humanity. That is the only defence that is possible. Britain should ask itself a grave question. If one tweet posted in anger, deleted in remorse, can result in a mother of good character being imprisoned longer than a man who kills, then what is our justice system for? Lucy Connolly is not a hero, but nor is she the villain the state wishes her to be. She is, in all probability, a frightened woman who said something stupid on the worst day of her life. We break our own laws when we cease to distinguish between bad behaviour and existential threat. And justice becomes cheap when it's used to settle political scores. We live a little less freely under those circumstances. We need a justice system which isn't looking at some sort of bank balance of right and wrong, but is looking at character and is focused on reforming that character. I have no doubt that if Lucy Connolly did something wrong, she repents and she is reformed. And I find it really, really difficult to recognise the rejection of her appeal today. It's not because I am in any way supportive of what she did or indeed the movement to support her. I'm not particularly supportive of that either. I just find the brutality of this sentence extraordinary. In the same way, actually, that I find the brutality of the sentence against Julian Assange and the sentence against Tommy Robinson extraordinary. And I don't support Tommy Robinson in any way either. I think there's something needling about the use of justice in our society at the moment and the delay of justice. When we see people who have been released from prison after years of being held for crimes they didn't commit, and the tardiness in sorting out the mess that is left. We have a duty to ensure that our prison system and our justice system is fair and honourable and is focused on what is right. Not necessarily that this crime merits that punishment, but this person deserves that punishment. This person would learn from that punishment. And people are different. And the punishment should not fit the crime, the punishment should fit the person. Gilbert and Sullivan mocked the former position, and we should have learnt from that.